way at the moment.
Again, the Praetor, that's a weird prioritization.
I think it's a target pick on AIN. But I think AIN needs to take away Violet. There you go.
Yeah.
But I love that. Day 5 has forced them to ban both the power picks of Murad and Violet.
Well, Day 5 need to ban Ryoma here because AIN will first pick it. Or they could leave it open and actually pick up the Malok and Ormar combo. So those are the two options that you have as Day 5. You know, you could target that L'Oreal as a ban as well.
Well, I think what they need to do is they can leave both Zenial and Malok open, so I think that they can take either or, which isn't picked if there's a first rotation by AIN. What I think they need to be considering is, well, I wouldn't have suggested Zephyrus, but it's a good answer, I guess, taking away a comfort pick from AIN. They were relying on it a little bit, but what's going to be on the first pick here for Berry? Ryoma. Good call on that one. I think you're right with the Ormar and the Malok first pickup. However, that remains to be seen with Day 5. They might have something up their sleeves.
Trying to figure it out. Yeah, there's the Malok being hovered. Ormar just makes sense. I mean, you know, you don't really have anyone else
that
sort of
to me
as your
says
main.
they're going for Malok or Ormar. Because they have hovered Malok and they switched. Oh, no, they're going to do it anyway. It's a nice little bait and switch because I don't know why they would switch that. No. They're playing games with us here, John.
I don't know. I don't think that's legit. I don't think that Morin will be played here. Morin Scud. No, I don't think so. I think it is going to be Malok and Ormar being locked in. Yeah, there they come back.
A little bit of a rope-a-dope around that one. A little bit of indecision, but ultimately it falls into what we expected,
here,
which was Malok and Ormar. I think AIN needs to pick up the Zenial again. I think Zenial was good for them.
I was going to say Zenial and Zil are two priority picks for them at the moment. Zil has been prioritized, especially by ST. That was their first pick every time. They just wanted to get that on the cards because they know how effective it can be. L'Oreal as well, potentially being picked up by AIN in this rotation. There it is. They both get locked in.
That makes sense because it's still denying Day 5 a comfort pick of theirs, which is that L'Oreal. So they get over that self. The question is, does Day 5 want to try and run hyper down the tank and take the Zenial away from AIN?
You've got the Slims available. You've got the Raz available. I imagine Raz is going to be locked in.
Raz will probably get a pickup, but I don't think there's enough priority on AIN to do it. And you saw last time, Day 5 were comfortable with leaving Raz till last pick.
Slim's being hovered there. No tanks being revealed for AIN yet, but you still got
But we're expecting
Thane
some
and
kind
Zenial.
of tank pickup in here.
I mean, they haven't picked a marksman up. Zuka actually for Day 5. That kind of makes sense in this brawly style that you bring to the table with Ormar and Malok. Lubu actually gets picked up, which is the same idea.
It's what they were missing, yeah. They were missing some kind of damage tank hybrid that Zuka and Lubu both fulfill as a hero. Lubu obviously has stronger early game than Zuka does, so it kind of dictates that maybe they're looking for some, they're trying to get these early game advantages and hold on in a little bit of a snowball composition, or that's where their mindset is at in terms of what they're picking at the moment.
Now, we say the Zenial's open, and they are going to pick it up. I was going to say, with Ryoma on the cards, they might not opt to go for that one if they want to put Ryoma there.
I think Ryoma doesn't provide... They needed a tank. That was plain and simple. They needed to have a tank in there. Ryoma is not tank enough. He's one of these bruisers that leans more towards damage than resistances. So he's not one of these people that you want to go. And there's the last pick, Raz, for Day 5. They weren't worried about AIM picking it up, especially considering they had already locked in the L'Oreal as a denial pick and also one for their own. So Yorioki... not actually going to take the L'Oreal this time.
So this is what I was thinking about, because we see Chan as the sort of the off laner, normally the top laner, playing in that solo lane. He's going to be picking up the Zenial, but the Ryo. That's what I was saying. I don't think Zenial is going to be mispositioned.
That they would go together because they both rely on being in a split push position.
Yeah, that's their kind of idea. But Yorioki, with the Ryoma, has so much damage output that he can just sort of play into that mid lane, give Pure the L'Oreal and change something up.
I think Pure is going to be the one that's going to be in the mid lane. I think Yorioki is going to be part of a roaming squad at the moment. I think what you do is you put Joker into the jungle, give him all the farm you can.
He's not got Punish.
Very true, but I still think you're going to put him in the jungle to get some early farm.
If he doesn't have Punish, I don't think he's going to go into the jungle. We'll see. Maybe it was a little bit of a delay on that, but no.
Well,
what I'm imagining
he's obviously picked the Flicker to keep himself alive. I'm confident he's picked Flicker. You can go jungle early and get some early farm from that. Especially, I'm leaning more towards just picking up a Sage buff or a Might buff for Joker, and then sending him into a lane with the assistance of something like Zenial. Now, what I think we'll see Zenial do is be paired up with Joker, And when there is times where roams can happen, Zenial will go off and roam. If for whatever reason it falls back onto Joker, then we'll see Zenial come down and assist him. But you see, they're just getting some vision out in the jungle. I think the Joker will then fold back around and get that might buff on the bottom of the map. But day 5, they're running straight into it. It's spotted out by Yorioki. He's got the safety of the turret, and Joker is going to be getting out of that jungle straight away.
Unless they can find a stun on here, the Might Golem's just going to go away, and so Joker doesn't have that strength at all. So yeah, he's just going to be sat in a lane. It is, as you're right, Pure going to be in that mid lane. Ryoma sat in the bot. Zenial and.
But they're rotating around to the top side because they still want to contest this Might Golem. They stalled it out long enough to get reinforcements from AIN. And I think they want to still give this over to Joker if they have the comfort, but they might have to just clutch take it away to stop day 5 from getting it. And it went over to Zill, so Berry has picked that one up himself.
Okay, so an even start on the invades. RF maybe trying to steal away the with the punish.
So it's like I predicted. Zenial and Joker are in the same lane at the moment.
Didn't actually get it.
So all that's going to happen is they're going to sit in that lane. I think, no, Joker's actually leaving. So Joker is going for the roams instead.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of damage coming out from Yorioki versus the Malok as well. Shouldn't be able to duel this out so well, but the damage is so strong this early on.
Okay, so they are going to leave both Ryoma and Zenial in these split lanes and have Joker roam around the jungle with Zill. It's unusual to see considering he picked up the Flicker. I'd like to see him get into a lane, though, and start getting some farm under his belt. I think sending him into the jungle consistently without the punish is very risky. You're going to see a lot of tension around the top side of the map as Sentinel is about to come online. Slims is already there. Ormar and Raz, they're heading up to join them, and they're cutting off L'Oreal from getting to it. And now there's a commitment in the top lane. Chan and Boss looking for RF.
Got the Joker chucking out the punchline, but it's not going to be able to do enough damage. Ormar just zoning off any of the AIN members going towards that Spirit Sentinel. It looks like they might be going for an engage as well. Berry able to teleport out of that one, and Pure dashes in on the L'Oreal. Not quite enough damage, but it is certainly going to see Ormar back underneath his own turret.
And being able to force them underneath the turret gives them the fastest route to that Abyssal Dragon, so they get there early and get the vision control around it. Boss needs to be very careful here. He gets locked up by the stun. There's damage coming out from Affid as well.
The stun comes out from Slims, has to burn the Flicker to get away. Taking it down very low. I'm imagining we're going to see him go back to base. And that's something you can't afford to do.
This creates a window for day 5 to have an advantage or get control of the river before going for Abyssal Dragons. It's still very much in the hands of AIN at the moment just because of positioning. They have the vision, they can set up traps in the bushes. They were going around the mid lane to try and catch them out, but top side, RF just getting some free farm in. Chan's going to struggle against Lubu in the early stages of this matchup, but that's not why you pick Zenial for the laning. You pick Zenial for the presence around the map.
Yeah, and for the split push idea of play because of the mobility that the hero offers. So day 5 have a minor advantage so far. No kills yet, but this could be it. Pure taken very low, has to pop the stasis, but gets knocked up straight away, and that's first blood going over to day 5. The 3-man stun from Ryoma, though. Yorioki has so much damage to pump out. Boss as well on the sidelines, but nothing will come of it eventually for AIN.
Absolutely beautiful timing by GK. He timed that leap perfectly so that the second Endure was out. He was immediately locked up Pure to stop him from being able to get out of the fight and transport herself away. So layering the CC in perfect timing onto the Endure duration meant that the kill on Pure was guaranteed.
Yeah, the stasis can't protect you for that long, and what else can't protect you for that long? When you overextend, even over a wall, that auto attack is going to follow you. KJ picks up the kill.
Right, so what's happened here is it means the Abyssal Dragon is free for AIM because they were in the mid lane. They saw 2 members heading for the top side of the map, with 2 already being up there. They know 4 are top side.
What are you doing? Overextended against 4 men under the turret, just giving over a kill, and L'Oreal's there, but you wouldn't be able to do anything even as 2.
It's weird that they decided that they had the information that they were going to do Abyssal Dragon because they knew 4 members on the team were at the top side, but for some reason Boss didn't get the memo and stuck around under the outer tower.
It's just last game all over again. They are just mispositioning. They're not quite on a.
Well, at least it wasn't buried this time.
Yeah, that's true, but it's just, you know, it just feels like they don't have the morale with them. It feels like they're just a bit sort of dissuaded. But day 5, just going to pop the ult from Malok to get away from that one. Berry and Pure couldn't find quite enough damage to pick that one up.
So Lubu's going to head back up to the top lane. He needs to keep the pressure against Zenial and really push his lane advantage before they start grouping for fight. The greater advantage he gets, he'll be able to make up for the delay it will take him to get to the team fight, assuming they stand in a split push game. A lot of pressure being put around the mid lane at the moment. Roro and Affin just trying to keep Pure in place. Slims is off to the side, looking for that long-range stun. Meanwhile, Boss is still hovering. A little bit disappointed he didn't find the lane and give himself some farm. I mean, he is the least farmed member of AIN at the moment. You don't want that on a damage dealer. Here's Zenial in for the backup with Ryoma.
That's not going to be enough, though. They are just going to do enough damage to take down the Ryoma. Chan backs off, even though he was able to get the backup there. It wasn't quite enough, but Berry trades it back in the mid lane onto KJ. So now it's a push onto different turrets for each of them, and there's Athen with a knock-up onto Pure. Still has the mobility, still has the sustain. There comes the backup, though, and Athen will get the kill.
Again, the restraint on the crowd control. The second the endure ends, the third strike from Lubu comes in with the knock-up to guarantee the kill. It's very coordinated. It seems like calm play coming out from day 5. They've got enough time to really put thought into their moves and what they're doing.
Yurioki getting caught out in the, not caught out in the jungle, getting the catch out in the jungle, but they are going to turn it around. They haven't managed to do quite enough damage to take Yoro down yet, but Boss is weighing into the fight as well. Chan is on the front line and soaking up all the damage. It's going to be Chan to pick up the kill as well, and there goes Berry with a double kill. Nicely done. AIN coming.
Beautiful clean up from the side by Berry there, just managing to pick away the stragglers from a lost engagement. And what perfect timing is it bases it around the Abyssal Dragon, where you now have a man advantage. You're going to get an outer tower for this. L'Oreal has to go mid to stop Lubu from hard pushing in, but other than that, the advantage has gone back into the favor of AIN. They've started to close this gold lead that day 5 are creeping up.
Yeah, back down to 900 gold, or about 1k, so it's become slightly more manageable. I was going to say before, we've seen how a Joker who is behind performs. It's so important to get him some early gold and to get him on the board. Otherwise, he can fall behind so hard, and it's so difficult to come back from. And he is still sat only 2.3k.
Yeah, it's one of the lowest things. He's falling behind Ormar, who typically does not get fed any resources whatsoever. They also have 2 Abyssal Dragons, boosting up that level of income he has. It's a poor state for Boss to be in at the moment. I'm waiting for him to get back into the game, though, and potentially as it gets through mid to late, AIN can start putting him to better use, because at the moment, being level 8 to, well, the level 11 on the side of RF or level 10 on the side of KJ, it's not a strong position, and he's going to be very fragile coming into these next engagements.
If Slims can land these stuns to get these pickoffs, that's where it's going to come in. Just sails wide on that one, but Pure has to dash away. Not popping.
Oh, Pure jump forward, why?
There's the endure, but it's not going to be quite enough. Don't think you're going to be able to survive this one, but the rest of your team comes in and collapses down. AIN start to push it onto the fight. GK has to back away as Yurioki does a hell of a lot of damage, and Berry does so as well. Trying to find the return kill, and Roro jumps in. But at what cost? You've lost 3 of your members. You don't really want to be giving away too many more. Trade it back for 1 onto Berry, and AIN really strong in these team fights.
So Pure shouldn't have lived through that. That was an aggressive play. There were no low HP members on the team, so it wasn't even going for a kill. It was just a flash forward. And then suddenly you have Malok jumping in behind you with the lockup. You've got Malok in between you and safety. You've been knocked up in the front, presented like a fine stuffed Thanksgiving turkey to day 5 to eat. The Endure obviously stalls it out a little bit longer, but they should have been able to capitalize on taking down Pure in that matchup. And I think that's one of the reasons they fell behind, because having that additional magic damage in that engagement turned the tides for AIN and made sure they saw through to the end.
I think something that was very important as well was the fact that GK used his ult early only onto the L'Oreal and to zone away Boss. If he'd have used it slightly later to get potentially more people caught in that knockup and more people in that zone, he could have maybe done a little bit better for himself and his team.
That fight wouldn't have happened, though, if Malok didn't take the initiative.
That's
and
true.
I can see day 5's logic behind trying to take that fight, because you've just had a L'Oreal overcommit, and you've had Slims' stun was about to come off of cooldown, because he used it very early to try and poke out and start a fight himself. I can understand the logic of day 5 going for the initiation there, especially with Pure mispositioning like that. I agree with you, yes, the ult could have been more impactful, but they needed it to start the fight.
I'm going to just slightly disagree with you there. It actually came, the only reason the ult was used was because KJ actually missed the stun spear.
Yeah.
And if they had got that, that would have been the same sort of initiation, and the rest of the team could have jumped on in a similar way. If that had hit, GK could have saved the ult for a little bit later and gone for a little bit more damage in terms of the CC that he was able to put out onto the rest of the team.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that's a disagreement. That's I didn't necessarily say that wasn't the case.
Okay.
But I'm saying that if they wanted to fight and Malok was the only way to skip the fight at that time.
Well, they want another fight right now, and they're going to jump in. Malok does use the ult, but they're going to get zoned away, and Pure able to do enough damage to take down Slims. Athen jumps over the wall, only just able to escape, and Roro falls as well. Athen still haven't taken the Abyssal Dragon, trying to do enough damage, and he is able to get a pick over the wall. Athen with the poke goes ahead and get it, and AIN take a third Abyssal Dragon as well for 3 kills for 1. That's definitely in their favor, and AIN are looking so much better after their performance in the first game.
Absolutely, they've got 3 towers under their belt, 3 Abyssal Dragons. Make that 4 towers in the favor of AIN. So it's a stark contrast from what we saw last game. Let's see if they can make it out through the remainder of the match without making a critical mistake, and they could close this one out and tie the series 1 apiece.
Day 5 will have that sort of late game strength coming out from Athen, and KJ, if he is able to get those pickups, the amount of CC that they can layer on top of that is absolutely huge. So it's really going to come onto them, but Pure as well is going to scale super hard, as well as Joker into the late game. Those will be their carries, so watch out for them in the team fights because they will be doing hella damage.
Moving back round into the mid lane, Athen, Roro, and KJ. Gonna have KJ lurking in that bush, waiting for someone to miss position. Just spot him out with the punchline.
Trying to get the damage. The poke from Athen is very, very strong. The longer they stay there, the more he can get down. So the more it will favor Day 5, but there goes the Malok jumping on in, but he's going to get burst down very quickly. Pure will take down Roro straight away, and GK soon to follow. These engages for Day 5 not working out. Pure gets turned on, will go down, but the rest of Day 5 will just fall around. It is, and that is going to be a very strong fight for AIN. They are absolutely unstoppable in these.
What is GK doing? He's initiating fights where he's putting himself in a situation where he gets locked up under the tower. The reason he got burst down so quickly is because the tower is focusing him and he's been CC'd because he dived too far forward. That's a huge misplay by GK to try and take that fight. There's 10 seconds still remaining on the thing. That's the core going to be taken down. Day 5 have just lost a match they should have won, and AIN are going to tie the series 1 apiece.
Again, a surprise victory there coming out from AIN as Day 5 take the hit, and that was really unexpected. I didn't think that they would be so sort of brash in their engages. I put that mostly on the Malok engages, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I think the Malok engages were very costly for Day 5. I think GK kept putting himself in unfavorable positions, trying to force fights. I understand their need to, because at a time when they were trying to do it, they had the lead and they would win the 5v5. But when they're putting themselves in positions where Malok has to dive by himself effectively, because while he's positioning himself in between L'Oreal and the rest of her team, L'Oreal's now in between his team and his support, and it's a lot easier for those 4 members to destroy the Malok than it is for the L'Oreal to die, because she's got mobility in her kit and she's got Endure as well. Plus, if he goes forward to try and meet them and stop them from reinforcing the L'Oreal, he then has to start tanking the tower.
This is, yeah, exactly. And as well as that, you've got the fact that, you know, I think this is why ST fear L'Oreal so much and why they banned it every game. They were sat there and thinking, what can disrupt our comp? What can do that? L'Oreal has so much damage that is sort of AoE damage onto the whole team, can jump straight onto the backline with that mobility. It's so devastating, and the fact that the rest of her team can come in and push up and gather around her after the Endure just adds to her kit and adds to the threat that puts out. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see more L'Oreal bans coming out moving forwards.
I don't think L'Oreal is the problem that Day 5 had there. I think if you're Day 5, I think you ban the Malok and don't try and take it yourself. I think that GK's initiations were incredibly sloppy there. I think it shows a lack of high-level understanding of your limitations with that hero to take engages like that. I think that if you're Day 5, you ban out the Malok so you don't have to pick it away. But we'll see if there's any adaptations like that coming into the draft. Praetor, again, being banned. There's the Murad. Violet ban is surely to follow in this lineup as well. I don't think they want to give that over, but they're respecting AIN's Ryoma by taking that away from them now.
Yeah, and what that's going to do, that's going to force the Violet ban from AIN, or they're going to go for the pickup of the Malok as the first pick. Sorry, they're going to go and try and force Day 5 to pick up Malok again as their first pick. Because if they can spot out that maybe those engages weren't the strongest and that performance wasn't great, if they don't ban the Violet, they let Day 5 pick up the Malok, they can then take Ormar and Violet in that first pick.
They have to ban Violet.
Okay.
They can't let it go through to Day 5.
I don't think Day 5 would have first picked it, though. That's
there you go.
The thing.
At least they're not going for the first pick. So Zephys has now been allowed
Zephys
through
would
the
have
draft.
been a better ban.
So Zephys is going to go through on the side of Day 5. It now leaves AIM to pick up their global composition and get Malok and Zenial in the combination if they want to. But I think Day 5 might want to try and run the Alice composition in this game. And so what I would do on the next rotation